Well, if you needed any more evidence of how much of a disgrace Alexander Isak has been the last few weeks, Eddie Howe has gave more updates and clarification on the matter. Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel on TV. Unless you're Alexander Isak, you're not welcome here anymore, sunshine. That picture, me and him behind us there, Boxport Wembley, where he told us he wasn't going to leave, that's been replaced. Well, it's going to get replaced and I've got a spare bloody minute. So it's a busy one after holiday, but we've got the lineups ready to replace Isak in that photo frame, the little rats. So I've seen loads of journalists and YouTubers and stuff come out with bombshell this and groundbreaking this and the truth of this. It's strange to me because these comments are obviously fresh from Eddie Howe, but it's kind of telling us what I thought we all knew. Unless, when people in the comments are saying, "Oh, Matt, you're being negative, you're saying this, you're saying that." Been saying it since fucking Celtic that this was the case, to be fair. Other people are just kind of switching on now what's been happening. Yes, Eddie Howe's made it clear, but I thought it was clear as day that this was the case. Some people just didn't want to believe it. Well, now they can see it and hear it for their own eyes. So let's get into what Eddie Howe said. There was also an interesting update on the ownership, which was asked last night. Everyone's saying, well, not everyone obviously, but a lot of Newcastle fans are disgruntled and saying, these PIF, these Saudis have lost interest. They don't care about Newcastle anymore. Where's the investment? Where's the training ground? Where's the stadium? There was a little bit on that as well, so we'll touch on that later on in the video. But first of all, Eddie Howe's quotes after the 2-2 draw with Espanyol last night. "I want Isak playing today and training tomorrow. No part of me doesn't want that outcome. Let me be absolutely clear, we would love him to be with us. I don't see the current situation changing though before Aston Villa next Saturday." So he's essentially confirming there that Isak is refusing to train and play. It's not like we're getting the exile on Isak. Eddie Howe's not choosing to chuck him away from the team. He didn't invite him to Tyndall's hot dogs the other day, the barbecue session, but he's not like he's saying you can't train with the team, you can't be involved. If it was Eddie Howe's decision, he would have had him playing last night against Espanyol or today against Atletico Madrid, and definitely next Saturday, nearly exactly a week today, until we face Villa in our open Premier League game of the season, where as it stands, Asula will be up front. I don't think that'll be the case. I think Wissam will get done by then, but right now, obviously, that's not great. And Isak's not great in terms of his behaviour and his stance in the last few weeks. Nothing short of an absolute disgrace, to be honest with you, because him now, refusing to train, refusing to play, doesn't want to be a part of anything. Why, man? Alexander, why? Seriously, have you went on like this? I want to hear from him, to be fair, There's always two sides to a story, so yes, we've been harsh on him lately, and rightly so, and the way Eddie Howe is as a person as well, and the team there, it's clear that it's him, but we know as well that, last summer he was guaranteed a new contract, he was guaranteed a wage increase. That didn't happen. Mitchell went against that. This summer, wasn't exactly done quickly either. Maybe he made his intentions know that he wanted to explore other options. Maybe we're at fault there for not trying to get the ducks in order a bit sooner, a bit faster, a bit better. But at the end of the day, you still contracted us. Don't take it out on the fans. All the kids last night that would have loved to have seen you play at Espanyol. The kids today that would have loved to have seen you play against Madrid. And of course, adults as well. I'd like to see him play today against Atletico Madrid, Not just young 9-year-old Daniel, you know what I mean? I would like to see him play. So, everyone wants to see him in black and white. We've adored him. We've put big tifos up for him. Yeah? And this is the thanks we get. The club are paying him 120 grand a week. It's not like he's on £4.67. He's not getting national minimum wage. And he's whinging because Burger King's getting paid more. You're still getting paid a decent amount of money, my son. Just because you think and you know that you can get double, this isn't the way to go about it. And it's not a good look. I don't get these Liverpool fans that are really free Isak and this, that and the other. And I know there's a similar situation with Wissam. We'll be happy when he signs, but this is way worse. This is worse. 3 years left. Everything else that's gone on. There was meant to be an agreement with Wissam that if a Champions League team came in for him, he could leave. They said no to that because Mbumo left. So, and again with this one, there's more than meets the eye. We could be here all day, but on the face of it, this behaviour is just unacceptable and unnecessary. It really is, from the standpoint of going this far to not training, not playing. It's unacceptable, man. Fucking off to Spain on holidays and stuff. Faking an injury. Eddie Howe says he's fine. Obviously, they might say, the thigh strain a couple of weeks ago was an issue. It was never an issue, man. Never, ever in a million years did he have a thigh strain. When it was like at Celtic, and then it was, he's not on the plane because the long haul flight could cause it. Jesus Christ, man. cannot believe it. I'm not going back out with that. But when people at the time were saying to me, you jumping to conclusions, you're being negative, you're fueling the fire. People, you can't handle the truth. People just can't handle the truth. There was more about what Eddie Howe said on Isak, which I am scrolling on a MacBook here, by the way. If you think, why is he staring over there and just, looking like a divvy? Because I haven't got time to edit this either, to be honest with you. We've got lots on the day with the double header at St James's, the lasses and the lads against Atletico Madrid. So, where are we? Here we go. Here's the full comments before the stuff about Isak refusing to train and play. We've had discussions and it's clear at the moment we can't have him involved with the group. He's training later than the rest of the squad. We'll know that. He's been turning up in the afternoon on his own. There have been discussions since the tour and I don't think disciplinary action has happened. Why not? Why not? Unless he's keeping that behind closed doors. Because why has he not been punished for not doing his job? For not going to work? For refusing to work? Sure, all of us wouldn't get paid if we just said, nah, I'll take the 120 grand, but not doing any work. No, thank you. So he should be punished for that. Should be docked wages, should be fined, should be punished, man. And the punishment shouldn't just lie at the hands of not getting a burger at a barbecue, and not inviting your kids around to play with Jordan's kids. No. Should be way worse than that. He is here, so of course he has a future at Newcastle. From our perspective, we would love to have him back with the team, but the situation has to be right for that to happen. I mean, he's got no future at Newcastle, unless, we really couldn't get a replacement, and we'll work our way down that list of Ramos, Samu, Koulibaly, Pablo Diaz, Calvert-Lewin, you name it. Unless they literally couldn't get anyone through the door, then he might have to stay, but I'd be very surprised if that is the case. So there's an update on Alexander Isak, just more confirmation of how much of an absolute bellend he's been the last few weeks. I've got a feeling that camera might be a bit wonky, but we've been doing this for about 10 minutes now, so we'll just roll with it. Oh, it's been a long day, travelling from London and stuff. I can assure everyone this is on Newcastle United's owners, right, and the ambition, which I want to hear more of, to be fair. I don't think there's loads of quotes on this. I can assure everyone that the owners care very much about the project and are fighting every day. We're still looking at transfers, we're still active, and we'll be active until they have the squad that we want. And that clearly isn't the case at the moment. We still have gaps to fill. So I like Eddie's, honesty there. He's saying it's clearly not the case at the moment, that the squad depth isn't there. At least he's not trying to beat around the bush or try and, sometimes they'll lie, essentially, just to try and make it sound and look better for everyone. He's not. He's saying, listen, it's not the case. The squad isn't good enough. We've seen that. He said last night it was imbalanced, and he said today the team that he puts out against Madrid will be imbalanced because he doesn't have the numbers, doesn't have the depth. So yeah, we're still active, of course. We always still want 3 or 4 signings in with however long is left, 2-3 weeks to the window. But on the ownership thing, I'd like to hear more on this. But as I said there, Eddie Howe is basically just giving assurances that they are still very much invested in the club and are showing ambition and fighting every day to improve this project, which, we need to see more fighting because we're not fighting very well. We're like Daniel Dubois, you know what I mean? Just no defence and just hitting the deck, yeah? We need to see more Usyk than Dubois, please, because we need to be fighting harder, fighting stronger, fighting longer. Because at the minute, we haven't been involved enough. Who's selling the project to the players? Who's convincing them? Who's doing more than they should be? Because it looks like people aren't doing enough, if you ask me. That skeleton staff that they're working with. Why is there no CEO being appointed? Why is there no sporting director being appointed? Why is there no stadium update? Why is there no training ground update? Why is there no sponsorship update? Why is there no fucking players getting signed? However, man, does that look like we're still fighting every day? I don't know. Not as much as we should be. Or not as much as we could be, shall I say. So, I want to see some improvements on that. We all do. Eddie does. He's just set it there on his squad depth to make sure we can challenge next season again and actually compete in the Champions League. So, yeah, I think that was it. Just basically saying they care very much in the fighting. I'd like to hear more on that, to be honest with you. But, I know Jamie Rubin was out there last week trying to get the Sheshko deal done. PAF did fly representatives out as well. So, maybe they are acting now, but this should have been the case from the start of the window. We know Eddie Howe said we want to move quick this window. We haven't done that. Maybe now they're thinking, bloody hell, we're knackered, yeah. Star Striker wants to leave. We've got a couple weeks after the window. Season starts next bloody week. So, yeah, maybe we need to see more from them on that. But we'll wait and see, everyone. I'm going to have to shoot off, get ready and stuff. Got all the matches today. Might do a vlog, bring you some updates from the ground and stuff. So make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and drop your comments below on everything we've talked about in this video. Big up, everyone, and I'll see you on the next one.